Job ad stirs public, exposing harsh employment realities in China. Fujian, driver flees after hitting multiple people following failed investment. China tanker missile attack by Houthis embarrasses Beijing. Bomb threats and vandalism escalate as CCP attacks Shen events. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Job ad stirs public, exposing harsh employment realities in China. On March 18, China's National Bureau of Statistics released some new economic figures, pointing to a fresh hurdle for the Chinese economy, an ever-climbing unemployment rate. The economic slump, deflation, and a housing market mess in China continue to hammer people's job prospects, sparking offbeat social trends like lying flat, letting it all go to rot, and being a full-time kid. In this context, a supermarket in China posted an ad looking for cashiers aged 18 to 30, and it exploded online. Netizens shared the cashier job ad, which garnered over 140 million views and 41,000 comments, many loaded with emotion. People across China jumped online to vent about how tough it has been for them, with one person sharing they've been on the job hunt for 3 years at just 33, and another at 29, already having been let go 3 times. Even though she wrote on her resumes that she's unmarried and has no children, no one replies to her. Some raised a harsh question, and the government is pushing back the retirement age too. What are we supposed to do in the meantime? The job search scene is poor, leading to what's been dubbed the 35-year-old curse across China. This started as a rumor on social media about big tech companies dumping older employees, but now it's a real trend, with job postings openly stating they won't consider anyone over that age. Even a high-end supermarket chain, Fat Donglai, is capping their hiring age at 30 in their recent ads. One person commented, "Even though I haven't been hit by this directly, it still makes me feel terrible." A lot of job ads are straight up saying no one over 35 need apply. Are they trying to say we don't deserve to live? What's the deal with being 35 that suddenly you've got to disappear? Isn't this society too sick? These gut punch stories shed light on a grim truth in Chinese society: how hard it is to land a job. Fujian, driver flees after hitting multiple people following failed investment. Life's getting tougher in mainland China, and random attacks are on the rise. On the night of March 23, the internet was flooded with clips of a white SUV mowing down several pedestrians before fleeing the scene, screeching all the way. This incident occurred near Baguolu in the city of Zhangzhou, Fujian. After a bad investment wiped him out, the car's owner went on a rampage, hitting random folks walking by. In the footage, you can see the car backing up quickly, slamming into something hard, and then speeding off, tires screeching. It made a sharp left turn onto the road and then accelerated. After the car left, the area was in disarray. Tables and chairs were flipped over, and at least a couple of people lay on the ground, not moving. One netizen posted 3 videos, stating, "This happened near Baguolu in Zhangzhou on the 23rd. A guy, down on his luck from a bad investment, decided to lash out, hitting innocent people left and right, leaving the road in chaos." Shandong State Media, New Yellow River, also reported this accident, stating that the driver, thought to be drunk, fled the scene. By the afternoon of the 24th, the police reported that the chaos resulted in minor injuries to 3 people and that they had the driver in custody. However, there's some doubt about the official story. Comments on the X platform didn't hold back. "This is hell, CCP's China." Under the CCP's iron fist, China's turned into a dark, chaotic jungle. China's on track to becoming a ticking time bomb. There's also buzz that around 4 p.m. on March 22, outside the Majite supermarket on Zhufang Road in Zhenjiang, Jiangsu, a sedan intentionally plowed into pedestrians. A video showed several CCP special police officers in Zhenjiang SWAT mobile uniforms taking the driver away. Unverified online posts claim the crash caused multiple deaths and injuries, with the driver alleging he was jobless and his house had been foreclosed on by the bank and taken to court. China tanker missile attack by Houthis embarrasses Beijing. Just this past weekend, a tanker flying China's flag got hit by Houthi forces off Yemen's coast in the Red Sea. In detail, the U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, let the world know via social media on March 24 that in the wee hours of March 23, the Iran-backed Houthis sent 4 anti-ship missiles flying close to the M/V Huangpu tanker. Then, at 4:25 p.m., they let loose a 5th missile that nailed the M/V Huangpu. Owned and operated by China and sporting the Panama flag, the M/V Huangpu sent out an SOS after the hit but didn't ask for backup. The damage was minor, a fire broke out but was doused in half an hour with no one getting hurt. Despite a Houthi bidwig earlier saying Russian and Chinese vessels would be safe in the Red Sea, the Huangpu still ended up in their crosshairs. Commenting on this incident, Mr. Su Ziyun, a big name in Taiwan's defense circles, mentioned, "The Houthis' slip-up here is likely due to their shoddy command and control. The whole Iran backing Houthis, and China's friendship with Iran, makes this a tangled web. The Houthis firing off missiles, hitting a friend's ship, well, they're not likely to say sorry for that. It'd be like admitting China's on their team. This mess just goes to show China might be swallowing a bitter pill in silence." After the assault, U.S. forces tangoed with 6 Houthi drones in the Red Sea south, taking down 5 and the 6th bugging out back to Yemen. CENTCOM said these moves were all about keeping the seas open and safe. Following a Hamas assault on Israel, the Houthis started targeting international shipping lanes in the Red Sea. Over 20 nations have rallied behind a U.S.-initiated coalition, Operation Prosperity Guardian, to safeguard merchant vessels, a move China hasn't signed up for. The UN Security Council earlier threw shade at the Houthis with a stern condemnation, a vote China sat out on. Since then, Chinese diplomatic chatter has been all about urging the Houthis to cool it with the civilian ship attacks. Li Zhengxiu, a military expert from Taiwan's National Policy Research Foundation, stated that the U.S. military's got a standing offer to safeguard any civilian ships cruising through the Red Sea, no matter where they're from. Even if China's not exactly playing ball with peace efforts or kinda nudging Iran to back the Houthis, the U.S. commitment to protect remains unshaken. This move's pretty much a direct challenge to Beijing. So far, there's been radio silence from China's foreign ministry on the whole ordeal with the Houthi rebels laying into a Chinese merchant ship. This led Mr. Su to criticize that this is beyond just embarrassing, it really shines a light on Beijing's lack of accountability. Despite having their own navy to combat piracy, Beijing not only shirks its duty to keep maritime lanes safe but also ends up indirectly backing the Houthi group, essentially giving them military support, and then ironically becomes a target itself. This really paints Beijing as an irresponsible actor on the world stage, causing harm to its own interests. Mr. Li Zhengxiu added, with Xi Jinping's ambition to elevate mainland China to a leading global position, he ought to embrace the responsibilities that come with such status. However, the reality falls short of expectations. This discrepancy has led to widespread disillusionment with Xi Jinping and the CCP, especially on issues critical to global security where their support is lacking, fostering doubts about Xi's future directions and their overarching strategies. Prior on March 21, Bloomberg reported from informed sources that the Houthi militants had struck an agreement with the CCP in Russia, vowing not to target their ships in return for political backing from the CCP and Russia and bodies like the United Nations Security Council. Bomb threats and vandalism escalate as CCP attacks Shenyang events. Shenyang Performing Arts, a company based in New York, has become a prime target for the Chinese Communist Party's aggression, due to its performances that depict China before communism. Within just a bit more than a week, the company was hit with 3 bomb threats. The initial bomb threat targeted Shenyang's headquarters in upstate New York. On March 18, a threat was sent from an email account bearing a Chinese username, stating, "I have placed a remote-controlled bomb in Dragon Springs." The Epoch Times obtained a copy of this email. Dragon Springs serves as both Shenyang's training facility and the site of several temples styled after the Tang dynasty. A Shenyang representative informed the Epoch Times that the FBI is investigating the threat, but has yet to make a public comment on the issue. The subsequent 2 threats were directed at theaters scheduled to host Shenyang performances, including a threat sent on March 22 to a California theater gearing up for a weekend show. An email to the theater's management read, we have placed many bombs randomly in the theater. If you don't want us to detonate the bombs, immediately refuse the Shenyun Performing Arts Group's performance here. The Epoch Times saw emails where the sender used a Chinese surname, with the subject line in English stating, "Theater has been bombed." This sender was different from the one who sent the first threat. The email continues to warn, if the performance starts smoothly, we will directly detonate these bombs. Attached was a stock photo of 2 bombs that had previously appeared online. After receiving bomb threat emails, theater staff promptly evacuated, while bomb squads and K-9 units from local law enforcement conducted a thorough search but turned up empty. A Santa Barbara Police Department spokesperson informed the Epoch Times the threat was baseless, noting, as a precaution, the theater was closely examined all weekend, and we detected no explosives whatsoever. They also indicated that the FBI is now looking into the case for further investigation. Simultaneously, a Vancouver theater faced a similar threat that weekend, which fortunately didn't disrupt the planned performance. According to a spokesperson for the Vancouver Police Department, again, it was deemed a hoax upon investigation. Chen Ing, vice president of Shenyun New World Company, stated, "Shenyun reveals to the world the true essence of Chinese culture before the communist takeover, profound, majestic, and stunningly beautiful, offering a vision of how wonderful China could be once again without the CCP." The CCP does not want this reality to be clearly displayed on stages worldwide, so they have been using all means to obstruct Shenyun for 15 years. Obviously, we take these threats very seriously and have law enforcement involved. But it's also crucial to see these threatening emails as the regime's last-ditch effort to conceal the truth. What's more, they will not prevail. Beyond the unfounded bomb threats, Shenyun's tour buses suffered deliberate damage in what seemed like attempts to trigger serious accidents. The incidents are the latest in CCP's escalating campaign of sabotage against Shenyun. CCP is afraid of Shenyun. Mr. Trevor Loudon, an expert studying the spread of communism in the West, has previously informed the Epoch Times about the CCP's view of Shenyun as a significant threat. This is largely due to Shenyun's mission to revive and present traditional Chinese culture, and it shakes the foundation of Beijing's control of China's cultural narrative. Mr. Loudon said, "The CCP's narrative is that China represents socialist culture." Shenyun has seen its fame skyrocket, now staging shows in 200 cities globally and drawing over 1 million attendees each year. Audiences worldwide have lavished praise on Shenyun performances. Australian actress Kate Blanchett has described Shenyun as exquisitely beautiful, while author and motivational speaker Tony Robbins has hailed it as epically magnificent. Many Shenyun performers are Falun Gong practitioners. Before moving to the US, they were persecuted in China by the CCP for not giving up their beliefs. Falun Gong is an ancient Chinese spiritual practice, which teaches practitioners the principles of truthfulness, compassion, and forbearance, involves gentle exercise routines, and aims for spiritual improvement. In 1999, Jiang Zemin, then leader of the CCP, launched a crackdown on Falun Gong followers after finding that their numbers, estimated between 70 to 100 million, surpassed CCP membership. Human rights organizations believe that millions of Falun Gong practitioners have faced illegal arrest, abduction, torture, and even execution at the hands of the CCP. The CCP has also targeted Shenyun artists with intimidation tactics, harassing their family members in China, some of whom have been incarcerated. Despite the CCP's embassies and consulates sending letters to theaters worldwide in past years urging them to cancel Shenyun's performances, these attempts have mostly failed. The Epoch Times has recently highlighted that Shenyun artists are not only dealing with a string of bomb threats but are also concerned about a forthcoming article in the New York Times that is poised to smear Shenyun. Larry Liu, the vice director of the Falun Dafa Information Center, FDIC, an organization dedicated to tracking the persecution of Falun Gong, mentioned that an attack piece on Shenyun published in a leading American newspaper would play into the hands of CCP propaganda. The New York Times maintains a presence in China, and despite various obstacles, it has invested significant efforts into preserving and growing its operations in the country, as well as making inroads into the Chinese media market. Don't forget to leave a comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.